Hey everybody. Okay, so this is the Chris's comments, the Common Sense on Common Ground comment. Okay, I'm just a guy that works for a living delivering groceries or other cargo. I've taken tires from a factory and taken them to a dealership over 2 cities over. You know, I've taken barbecue pits, water and plumbing supplies to residences from the stores that they ordered or manufacturers had buildings, distributions. I've paints. From paint stores, sometimes from paint store to paint store, but other times to other people's places and commercial business real estate areas. Okay, that's what I am. I'm just a delivery guy. I'm a delivery driver that works off of 2, 3, sometimes 4 different delivery service apps because no one delivery service app can make ends meet. You can't make ends meet off of any one of them. You have to juggle them around. That's who I am. That's Chris's comment, Chris of Chris's comments. And this little guy blended out in America amongst all of you is making a comment, and the reason is because everybody out there is going to propaganda or rhetoric or using policy term language that us guys around the barbecue pit don't use. We don't use that. We talk normal talk, you know. And so today I'm talking normal about Kamala Harris's vice president pick. It's a good pick because all of them were great picks. Any one of them was a good pick. And there was only like 1 or 2 people, experts or journalists or whatever, that was saying they preferred so-and-so over any of the others. Okay? The rest of this world, okay, the rest of the VP picking world was keeping their mouths closed, and they need to stay that way. I'm telling you right here and now, okay? I'm listening to NPR, I'm watching the news, I'm watching on YouTube, I'm listening to commentaries, and I'm watching them unfold on podcasts. All of them said, well, they're all really good choices, yeah. So who do you pick? I don't know. I really got nothing to say about who she should actually pick, and I'm not even paying attention. I don't really know what they. Okay, shh. Okay, just stop it. All right. The reason why I'm saying this is because now that she's made her pick, here comes all the expert opinions saying, I wouldn't have gone with that. I don't think she made the right choice. I'm not sure because so-and-so was this and so-and-so was that. Shh. All right? Shut it. All right? Just, you had your shot. Every interviewer was asking every single one of you, who do you think would be the best choice? And every single one of you was didn't see nothing, know nothing. You were taking notice of the scenery. You were looking at the traffic. You're doing this. I don't know what you were doing, but you weren't answering the damn question. Okay? So, shh. All right? Okay, now that I got that out, let's go to the more serious level. Hate. Hate right now, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's been there. Harris is this, Harris is that, Harris the N-word, which is really weird because you got people denying her blackness, even from black people that have already made comments on the internet. Okay, they've already streamlined their comments. She's not even black. She's Asian. She's never been black. She's been Asian. Okay. One commenter who took her defense said it clearly, and it took forever, so I'm going to see if I can simmer it down for a little bit. What does that say about black people in the UK? Black English people? What does that say about black Chinese people? What does that say about black Australians? What does that say about black Cubans? Cubans, they can't be black? They can't be black Cubans. They can only be Cuban. He or she can't be a black Australian. They can only be Australians. So what's the deal with this? She's not even a black. She's just an Asian. She can't be a black Asian? Seriously? Come on, man. Enough with that crap. DEI didn't earn it. Okay? The biggest, funniest thing about it, and the reason why I'm encouraging everybody to just keep flipping the middle finger at these people of hate, is because the main dude, Donald Trump, the main dude, is saying this. He inherited everything. This guy didn't have to work. You know, he might have a pay stub, but it's in a frame somewhere back in the days when he can laugh about it. Okay? That guy didn't earn a damn thing. He is nobody to judge. And I know you all know this, so I'm going to cut it right there. I'm just letting you know that I also know it, and that we are all still in the right to snubbing this fool off. And every single other fool that tries to throw that DEI crap out there. Okay? Because it's pretty obvious, if they're gonna go that far, whoever's listening has every intention of listening to it to fuel their anger, to fuel their hate. Okay? It's just that obvious. And here's the thing about people that never followed her, but are coming up with, she never did anything. How about the 4 years? Could you name one thing that she did in the 4 years that she was even vice president? Actually, we can. And this is for you guys to hear me out now. Okay, flip the meat. Flip the meat. Yeah, I'm drinking coffee. Take your sip of coffee. And I say this because, again, I'm talking to you guys as a fellow dude around the barbecue pit. Okay? Around that water cooler. Okay? At that coffee shop. Okay? Abortion rights. Harris still supports abortion rights, especially around that time that impregnated 10-year-old really needed one. Okay? Every single repug said no, she can't have one. Harris, the VP, was one that backed up that little kid, and is backing up every woman and every child, apparently. Every child that gets into that situation. Okay? So abortion rights is one good thing that she's actually accomplished in upholding, even with the Republicans all the way up to the Supreme Court banning Roe v. Wade. That's a huge accomplishment, actually. That's a very hellaciously serious accomplishment. Okay, the border issues. She went to Guatemala and Mexico and worked out a deal for holding facilities and processing facilities for migrants. You know, instead of looking at the damage being done here in the South. And just a reminder, I'm here in San Antonio, Texas. I deliver all over my state. So I could tell you there's no invasion. You know, there's an overwhelming amount of people, sure. But there's no invasion. There's nobody getting killed. There's nobody getting a house invaded. There's no crops being burnt. There's no livestock being slaughtered. There are no barns being burnt down. There aren't even reports of a dead dog. Okay? There's no invasion, people. I stand by that to this day. And I can still tell you that. There's no invasion. And if you want serious proof, look at any video, hype, rhetoric, propaganda video that shows people filming migrants walking here, walking there, and all this good stuff. Their own videos show unarmed, starving families with no weapons, grenades, torches, fires, sometimes not even cigarettes, crossing the borders. They're climbing fences. They're wiggling through the barbed wire fencings across people's lands, but they're not destroying it. And they're not stripping the lands of any environment. Those game camera footages is proof of that. The very same game camera footages of people saying, look, trespassers. It's an invasion. Well, those very same cameras are recording them starving and dehydrated, but still nevertheless passing on through. Yeah, they're passing through, but there's no invasion. Okay? Harris went to Mexico and Guatemala, probably more than just those two countries, but worked out a deal that has reduced migrant crossings here in the States. She's worked up $4.2 billion for those two countries. I mean, I'm sure she was trying to work with all Latino countries, but nevertheless, she got two very important ones, Guatemala and Mexico, the entire country. The largest of the, well, not the largest, but a very majorly big, importantly big Latino country. Okay? I'm sure Brazil probably would have been a bigger thing, or, Argentina, who knows? But nevertheless, and all of this, while again, the Republicans were transporting migrants as soon as they crossed the border. If you want proof of that, you go to my show, you scroll down 5 months back where it says propaganda exposing the, sorry, where it's entitled Exposing the Propaganda, or Propaganda Exposed, I think it was. And I can't remember the minute, but watch the whole thing anyway. You'll see where I stop it and freeze frame it, where migrants are coming from an open gap section of the border. They're all walking through it, and they're literally, the camera turns to follow them, and they're literally dropping off their luggage to be loaded underneath the luggage carrier of the bus while jumping onto the bus. Okay? It shows it for a split second, but in that comment, Propaganda Exposed, I'm actually freezing that moment. I'm showing the full 2.5, I think, 2.5, close to 3 seconds of the people walking around the fence and approaching the guys that is escorting them onto the bus, which was paid for through Texas tax-paying dollars, and more than likely your tax-paying dollars, because Greg Abbott, my worthless governor, kept suing the government in the name of border security. He'd get $1 billion. He'd spread the cheer around to everybody, but never to his administration and his people. But he was also paying for that transportation on buses, and don't forget airplanes, and don't forget boat rides. Okay, it wasn't just Florida, and it wasn't just the Arizona governor. It was my governor also that relied on those three forms of transport. No, excuse me, trains. I don't think he did boat rides, not as far as I could tell. But he did planes, buses, and he loaded people on trains. Okay? These are the same migrants that he is accusing of being rapists, murderers, traffickers, and yet he did nothing to prevent those rapists, murderers, and traffickers from landing in sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities is not supposed to be for criminals dropped off by a government leader. But there he was, my worthless douchebag of a governor, Greg Gestapo Abbott, and his administration. Don't get me wrong, Lieutenant Dan Patrick, his guy that's being accused of being attacked for his corruption. Okay? He was a part of this crap. He took part. He backs up Biden in every sense of the word. Ted Cruz backed him up. Will Hurd backed them up. They were all a part of this plan to transport criminals amongst asylum seekers, defenseless asylum seekers, to sanctuary cities throughout the U.S. on your tax-paying dollars. Just throwing it out there. So what did Kamala Harris do during the 4 years? Well, she couldn't stop my governor, as sure as people who assaulted the bus convoy back when Biden was the president candidate, ordinary citizens was interfering. So Governor Greg Abbott, with his hiring National Guard from different states to patrol the border, it's a clear warning sign for Vice President Harris to actually approach the border, okay, at that time. But during this time, she was making deals with Latin countries. We got 2 of them in league with us, with the U.S., okay? And that's one of the main reasons why the migrant crossings have reduced. It's working together with other countries. And that's just the second thing that she's done. There's another one, voting rights, the John R. Lewis Act. Look, I'm sorry. Republicans right now are the ones that are doing all the gerrymandering schemes and all of the needless excess of requirements in order for you to vote. And the John R. Lewis Act is the one that says you don't have to abide by all of this crap. You don't need to take a quiz to know how to vote. It's dumb. Oversaw the gun violence prevention measure. Okay, now it's still difficult to prevent gun violence, but the gun violence measure is to put people that want guns, people with access to guns, on the up against the wall for a little bit. Their backs up against the wall to go through background checks, criminal history, and probably mental health checks. Now it's weak right now, but it is passed. Okay, and the big thing is every gun, every anti-government person is saying you don't have to have a background check in order to get a gun. A criminal is going to get a gun anyway. That's true. That's true. The determined will get the gun. But much like the way it was with 9/11, where now anybody who wants to learn how to fly has to go through the entire course. If they don't, the government zooms in on that douche and has normally picked up on connections with other terrorists. Okay? So it's not foolproof, because technically if somebody wants to go through the process to get in a jet to fly into a government building, on a technical level they still can. It's just a little bit harder now that these regulations and restrictions have been applied. Same thing with the gun violence subject. Okay? No, it's not going to stop a guy that's determined to get a gun. But it's going to be a huge pain in the ass to the rest of the people who really just need an enema. Okay? I mean, and I know that's dumbing it down. That's being improper or whatever. But let's just be honest. Common sense says that it's a helpful tool to prevent gun violence. Everybody that's saying that it isn't is nothing but a hypocrite. Common sense and criminal history says that this is regulations and restrictions helps prevent gun violence. Anybody that says no is a hypocrite. It's just that obvious. Here's another thing to everybody that's gonna ask you, what has this lady even done the 4 years that she hasn't done anything? Yes, she has. She's also done maternal care and infant health care. She's passed 2 acts. She's participated in passing 2 acts for maternal care and infant health care. Okay? That's huge. So for everybody that thinks, Democrats just want to abort so they can kill us and all this other crap. No. Everybody knows an abortion is a part of a medical procedure that helps keep that woman alive, to make sure that she can get a second chance at giving birth to a baby. There are more women than you might actually know that have actually had to go through this. because the first time was a complicated time. Their mind and body was ready, but until they actually went through with the childbirth, they were in danger. There was a high risk of danger. Everybody knows this. It's historic fact. And abortion rights, the right to use the abortion to maintain life, is part of maternal care and even infant health care. Because most of the times when the baby is born, even if it kills the mother, the baby follows. Most of the time, that's what history says. Medical history says that. Plain and simple. All right. Broadband expansion. This was part of the infrastructure bill. Okay. She partook in broadband expansion. She helped make sure that it was seen through. Biden proposed it. Congress passed it. She saw it through. So that's another accomplishment. And everybody out here who's saying, well, that's nothing new, that's nothing new. Keep in mind, these people that are telling you that are using broadband themselves. Okay? Now, with a lot more access and ease. Modernized, up-to-date broadband. Okay? These people that are spitting are using the exact tools that they're using to say that she didn't do anything. Remember that, okay? Because like I said, I'm just a delivery driver. I really have very little connection to people in the workplace now that I'm just this delivery driver. Okay? And the people who I meet to load up my either groceries or, cargo, merchandise, or, tools, materials like paints, and lumber sometimes. Those people are just like, okay, you're the guy. Okay, here's the stuff. Sign here. All right, good. And they go over to the next delivery guy that pulls up. Okay. So I don't usually get to defend anybody like Kamala Harris. And I usually, not anymore, I don't get to talk to people who have different opinions, who are nothing but accusational and rhetoric following and all this stuff. And I used to have a lot of fun doing that. Also, Harris co-sponsored the bill to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. We got another holiday, people. I love holidays. It may not be work approved, but it's another one like next year I get to schedule for a day off. Well, not anymore, seeing as how I am my own boss now. I do deliveries now through different apps. Remember, I do that. I got to juggle them and all this stuff. But I get to schedule my own days off, and I get to schedule holidays. And that's, I'm happy with that. I think that's another great accomplishment. I think everybody should enjoy these holidays. It's healthy, despite the fact that nowadays it's more of a profit thing. But seeing as how festivals are technically fundraisers, for whatever the cause is. In Juneteenth, obviously, it's for, the black communities nationwide, or at least in your city. Same thing with food festivals, which are usually contributed to, which usually all the proceeds or fundraising also contributes to farmers, the agricultural people in the agricultural industry who are taking a hard, heavy beating from the government and corporations. Don't get me started on that. It's true, and if you don't, you need to seriously look into it. Here's one, not so much agricultural but farming. Tyson Meats. You look up all the scandals to Tyson and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Here's another one, Smithfield pork, hams. Okay? Look into the scandal. I've talked about them before. You see what I'm talking about? If you followed me which I know not many of you have because I don't really have that many subscribers, but that's beside the point. If you followed me, you'd know that I've had no problem talking about those scandals and the horrible crap they're doing. So, a food festival like here in San Antonio, we got the Barbacoa and Big Red Festival. I love that. We also have beer fests, just like you guys in your states. Worst Fest, we have just like you guys in your states. We got Taco Fest, Enchilada Days, Margarita Fest. There's another one, I just can't think of it right. Oh, we even got Mole Fest. For those of you that don't know, it's a Mexican dish that's kind of like a gravy sauce with chicken dumplings, but it's Latino, so it's brown. It's the brown gravy, so to say. It's a brown sauce, meat sauce, and it's got chicken in it, and it's very. You can make it thick or you can make it soupy, but we usually eat it thick, thick sauce, almost like gravy, and it's just this fantastic thing. Well, here in San Antonio, once a year, we even have a mole fest. You know, it's not big, but it's still a festival, and it contributes to the agricultural people in the agricultural field. Okay, and not one major company like Tyson or Smithfield. So, I mean, guys, festivals, there's nothing wrong with them. Events, there's nothing wrong with them. In fact, the only thing that you really got to look out for is that douchebag of hate that wants to shoot a gun in there. And you know how I feel about that. You know? I'm going to slow my roll. And come back to this guy here that, you know, flip the meat, drink a coffee, you know, chug a beer, get another swig, okay? We're cool. I'm cool. And that's the thing there. I want everybody out there to stay safe and be cool. Kamala Harris made a great choice. Nobody should judge. And just remember, we're still not there. It's getting easier for us, obviously. But the main thing that we've got to remember is it's not over. The hate is still going to come. And all the way down to a possible shooter again. Another damn shooter. Okay? There's going to be protests. There's going to be rallies. There's going to be podcast people that are going to spew their hate. We all know this. Okay? We all know this. Day of the Dead. That's another one. It hasn't been adopted by Christianity yet, but, you know, it will. Halloween is a Christian one, but Day of the Dead, no doubt, it's going to be as sure as many who attend the Day of the Dead festivals are Christian. We're mostly Catholic. But yeah, it's funky because you get protests from other churches saying, this is Antichrist. Well, not really, because it doesn't have anything to do with the deity. You actually commemorate the dead through whatever God that you're actually following. It hasn't been adopted through Christianity yet, but once it does, I'm sure we're going to have a good enough time. The only ones that are going to be rare are the ones that are going to be ignorant to it, like Halloween, who think that Halloween is a satanic ritual day, when in actuality, it's the one universal festival that takes place around the world, regardless of whatever your religion is. Because nobody celebrates Hanukkah. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. Not everybody celebrates Easter. You know, not everybody celebrates Kwanzaa. Not everybody celebrates the Holi festival. Okay, not everybody celebrates the Diwali festival. Okay, the Diwali or the Lawa? I can't remember. Sorry about that. But everybody loves Halloween. And for the people who say, well, yeah, so do the Satanists. Yeah, but they're not really praying on that day. They pray on Halloween. We don't like celebrating, Satanic Prayer Day. Well, Satanists don't pray on Halloween. They just party. Okay, that's I mean, I get it. Yeah, they're out there celebrating also. They're out there in the public eye also, but they're not really praying. They're partying. Okay. For those Christians that do pray on Halloween, good, because it's a Christian. It's a Christian celebration anyway. It's a Christian event anyway. It's the banishment of evil in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So good. But don't banish Halloween itself just simply because everybody else likes it. I mean, that's just dumb. And besides, churches make a pretty good profit also with the little pumpkin festival, their pumpkin mazes, and the pumpkin patches. I mean, the pumpkin patches and their photo ops with this happy scarecrow. Stuff like that. We all know that. We all know that. So, my religion isn't anybody really to judge. So yeah, y'all take care and take it easy. Be safe at those festivals and events. Be safe anywhere and everywhere once Kamala Harris actually wins the presidency. And I say this because there's going to be another gunman somewhere out there that says you deserve to die because a non-black Asian is in the White House. Okay? It's just dumb. We all know this. The fight isn't over. We are not finished. We're sticking up for each other and ourselves and standing up to hate. It's coming. And it is. Remember shooting areas. If you're in a public place and you know that there's going to be a shooter down the ways from back there, keep your eye out for hiding spots while you're going through this festival or event. Okay? Just keep an eye out. I'm not saying go to them immediately once you get to the festival. Enjoy the festival, yeah. But just keep an eye out of a place to duck and hide, because a gunman usually has a hard time shooting at somebody if he doesn't see them. He's too busy shooting at people that he can, and it starts off with the people that he can see. Okay? So if you keep in mind a hiding spot that you and your loved one or your friend or your group of friends or your family can duck and hide to, do so. And if you could, try to make room for that one girl that's in love with the bad guy. Okay? Because she's the one that's more than likely going to be left behind once the gunman starts shooting. He's the one that's not ain't afraid of nothing. That's going to be all, damn, I hope my girlfriend didn't get shot. That girl. Okay? Try to make room for that girl. I'm sure she'll be appreciative of it. So yeah, that's the long and the short of it. We got a VP pick now. We've got a president and a nominee and a vice president nominee that's ready to take on all those people of hate and try to put some order back into what we got into our country and make everything a little bit less frowning. So, y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out. I'm so sorry it took over 30 minutes just to say this. Y'all take care, okay? Keep on keeping on.